another episode of Wit, Grit, and No Bullshit with your girl Sin City. Glad to have you. Today, we're going to get to it. First, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world because there's a lot happening. Alright, and I'm not going to dive into all these topics straight off the bat. I just want to let y'all know that I'm just going to brush over them because I don't like to give my opinion, especially on some of these very sensitive topics. So I'm just going to give you the highlights, all right, of what's going on. Then we're going to move on to sports because it is the divisional rivalry games right now for the playoffs. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to very quickly touch on a show that everybody and their mama is talking about right now on all of social media, and that's His&Hers. If you haven't watched it, boy, you missing out. I'm going to need you to go get Netflix if you ain't got it, and you got to tune in, because that's one of them series right there. And then we're going to conclude with talking about parenting, because that is the main topic for today. As someone who has two kids, two that are in high school, it can be a lot. So we're going to talk about that. And that's going to be it for today. It's going to be smooth, simple. You know, we're going to get to it and keep it moving. All right, now. So, like I said, we're going to start with news from around the world. I'm sure everyone is seeing everything that's happening when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. And it just don't look like it's going to come to an end anytime soon. Every time you think it's slowing down and it's about to get better, something else happens and then it just extends it on. However, there is a peace negotiator that's going to be arriving in the U.S. to sit down with POTUS and have some discussions. Hopefully, it can come to a resolution, but I just don't see it. Then you have the death toll that keeps rising in Iran. Protests that keep going on is causing a lot of turmoil and craziness within the country. And now we are looking at almost 3,000 people have been killed during these protests in Iran, which is causing other people to want to intervene and try to help what's happening because of the large amounts of death that we've seen taking place. China's still being China. They are toying with Taiwan per the usual with drone activity. Also monitoring some of the U.S. assets that are moving around in that area as well. Nothing crazy, just doing what they normally do. We're also beginning to see protests taking place in Europe, and this is out of support and solidarity for Greenland. We know we've seen some threats shot their way about potential takeover, and so because of that, a lot of European countries have not only sent folks into the country as a thwart, if you will, to kind of try and stop any type of movement that may have been planned or is planned. And then you have countries like the Netherlands that are having protests because of what's going on. Lastly, we're continuing to see, now I have never been able to pronounce this city and I just don't think it's in the cards for me, but we are continuing to see unrest happen in Minneapolis, Lord, following the ICE shooting that happened. If you haven't seen it, there's videos, there's reports out there of what happened. Obviously, everyone has a difference of opinion in this incident, and I'm going to keep mine to myself. Alright, moving on to sports. Yeah, because I love it. Alright, like I said, it's the NFL division rounds of getting down to who's going to be in the Super Bowl. You know, you gotta start weeding them out. Alright? So for AFC, right now playing are the Bills and the Broncos. Obviously, Broncos are number one. in this division, with the Bills being in the 6th spot. So the Bills are really the underdogs here. Excuse me. They both have great quarterbacks in Josh Allen as well as Bo Nix for the Broncos. However, anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Who Dat fan. So I feel some kind of way with Sean Payton, and I'm not a fan. I want them to lose. Let me just be honest with you. However, let's talk about some information behind these two great teams. Josh had the game-winning drives against the Jags in this last game that we just saw. And you could see that he was not feeling at his best. You could tell he was dealing with some kind of pain or injury during that game, but he still gave it all to take the dub. Bo Nix had a 7-game winning drive within the regular season. We already know that the Broncos have a great defense. They have dismantled quarterbacks like butter in the regular season with 68 sacks. The Bills has the number 1 ranked pass defense, but their run defense is garbage can juice, to be honest with you. They also had some injuries on offense, and Josh has had to make up for that and put the whole team on his back. Not looking good for, they have a lot of questionable, because I haven't been looking at the game, so I don't know if any of these people are in, but they did have a lot of questionable players on their roster, and I think they had 2 or 3 that were also out for this game too. But they got that dog in them. So, we gonna hope that they pull it out, but I'm not really, on paper, Broncos are the definite winners here on paper. But, like I said, because I don't like Sean Payton, I hope they lose. Going on to the NFC, you have the 49ers that are at the 6th spot with the Seahawks at number 1. Purdy and Darnold, but Darnold has been questionable for the last few days. I haven't looked to see if they've cleared him, but he wasn't practicing all week. The backup, Drew Lock, was, so that's potentially who you're going to see in the game unless they clear him last minute to play, but he hasn't been throwing all week, so even if he does play, he might not be on his A game. The last matchup between these two teams, Seattle took the dub 13-3. Purdy didn't have a good game. He only had 127 yards, and he also threw a pick. So there's that. But he is 4-0 on the road against this team. Any given game day, because it's not Sunday. The Seahawks defense will keep the 49ers on their toes for sure, because we already know that their defense is with the shits. We'll see how that plays out. For tomorrow's games, you got the Texans versus the Pats. The Texans are considered the underdogs here, especially against the Pats. I'm going to go with the Texans. I love their QB, and I got to rock with the underdogs, like I said. So I'm going with the Texans. I've always hated the Pats. That's never going to change, even though Tom Brady's gone, and so is Belichick. Doesn't matter. Still going to hate the Pats. Your final game for tomorrow is the Rams against the Bears. Gotta go with the Bears. I'm sorry, not sorry. Y'all stay hating on my boy Caleb because he paints his nails. Get over it. All right, get over it. A lot of people paint their nails nowadays, so you might as well just move on. All right, find something else to be mad about because that's dumb as hell. And I love the kid Loveland. That kid Loveland that they got on the Bears, I like that kid for some reason. So I'm rocking with the Bears, plus a bunch of my friends are Bears fans, and it's been a while for the Bears, so I'd like to see them, pull out the win. All right, that wraps up sports. Now let's talk about His and Hers. Boy, I'm going to try to do my best not to give you any spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, I do suggest you see it. But this series is phenomenal. from the choices of the actors and actresses, the storyline. Obviously, everyone says it's based off a book. I didn't read it, but they said the book is really good and well done, and so is the series. If you haven't seen it or know what it's about, it is about a reporter who had something traumatic happen in her life, and because of that, she went off the grid for a while. Excuse me, she all of a sudden pops up a year later wanting her job back, which kind of leads you down a path of thinking that the mysterious things are happening may be surrounding her. But she pops back up wanting her job back. They say she can't do it, so she finds a way by saying she'll do field reporting. And not only will she do field reporting, she'll do it back in her hometown. So she heads back to her hometown to start reporting on a string of murders that are taking place in her hometown. And when I say they taking these people out left and right, they taking them out left and right. It is a good thriller. Like I said, great cast in this show. The lead female, Tessa Bain, she killed it. But it's a great storyline. You know, her husband is also in this storyline. Not a real husband, like in this story. Has a lot to do with what's happening. I don't want to give too many details because I don't want to ruin it for you all, but it's definitely one of those series that if you haven't seen it, 10 out of 10 I recommend going over to Netflix and checking it out. His&Hers. You won't be disappointed. I will say that I sat down first thing in the morning and started watching it, and I did not finish the series. I didn't get off that couch until the series was done. So I watched it all in one day. That's how good it is. It's one of the ones that'll have you hooked from the beginning to the end. And the ending is a twist ending that you won't see coming. Well, some of you might. But it's one of the ones that will be like, what did I just watch? What just happened? And then if you have any friends that watch it, you got to call them and talk about it. All right, now. That's it on that. All right, moving into the tale of parenthood. All right, now. For any parents out there, if you got littles, enjoy it while you can, all right? Because while they're little, you still have a lot of control over them. And they're not as mouthy. They can be mouthy, but they're not as mouthy as kids can be once they start to become teenagers and smell themselves, as my mama like to say. Like I said, life with two teenagers is hard. Every day I'm fighting for my life and to not catch a charge. Every day. Not even joking. One is soon is going to be leaving for college. Pretty excited for him. Not excited for me because he is the one that helps me do so much stuff around the house. So I will definitely be sad. Not just because of that, just because he's a good kid. He can be mouthy at times, but he's a great kid. So he'll be leaving off for college soon, and that's going to be a whole new set of problems. Y'all already know. Because then they're going to realize they don't know how to do anything for themselves. Even though you tried to teach them and show them how to do all the things. But then they're going to realize they can't. So, yeah. And then the other one is a freshman. And she thinks she's grown. And boy, I tell you what, she thinks she's more of an adult than any of the adults in the house. And nothing is fair. Okay? Nothing. Nothing is fair or makes sense in her mind. It is all, everybody's against her. She hasn't done anything. Okay? She didn't do anything wrong. Everybody's against her. That's what we deal with on a daily basis. I find myself daily asking Jesus to take the wheel or to be a glass of something strong, which currently is horrible because it's dry January, so I'm drinking these non-alcoholic beverages to bring the chi down, just to set the mood, just so I don't catch a charge, So I'm out here really suffering in these streets currently. But our son, I have realized more and more, is petty Betty. I already knew he was petty, but I'm realizing even more how petty he can be. He thought it would be a good idea to tell his sister about all the money he used to make when he was younger, from homework, from chores, and all of this. And so then we had to have a 45-minute discussion about why she doesn't have all this money or get all this money and blah, blah, blah. And it didn't matter what reason we gave her. None of it was right. It wasn't fair. And it doesn't make sense. So, to my son, the pot stirrer, I will get you back. Don't worry, it's coming. I don't know how yet, but it's coming. Because what is parenting if you can't get your kids back when they start a pot? It's coming. But yeah. So that was like 45 minutes of her questioning the validity of what he said. And then once we confirmed those claims, like I said, then she wanted to know, well, why she didn't, get money, or what was the reason. So that was great. We explained you're different people, you have different experiences, and blah blah blah. None of that mattered. So I want to push my son down, especially because I can't get those 45 minutes of my life back. But yet here we are. Because he just wanted to set us up for failure. And then he went to work, so he didn't even have to be here for this conversation. That's what makes it even more annoying. But I'm definitely going to be plotting on him. I got to get him back. It's a necessity at this point. But that's what it's like. That's just a little simple, a little sample of what we deal with. Another sample, she got mad at me about something the other day because she didn't even let me finish telling her my point of view or justification of why I was saying no to something. She just heard what she wanted to hear and, snapped, and then took it to the internet. To say, my mom doesn't understand me. She doesn't get me. She doesn't support me. And I'm guessing she posted it to where I couldn't see the post. But somebody else did and called me and said, hey, what y'all got going on over there? Because I saw this was posted. And I was like, oh yeah? Did you? That's cute. But today, I posted a TikTok talking about her eyebrows because she shaved them and they look crazy. But it don't look bad. It just look crazy when you're not prepared for it. She apparently didn't like that video and asked me to take it down. And said I shouldn't be talking about her on the internet and making fun of her. And I said, oh, that's crazy. Because didn't you talk about me on the internet? It's not the same thing. Oh, it's not? It's not the same? Oh, it's crazy because it's almost like it's the same thing. And yours is actually a little worse than what I said. I mean, I didn't show them your eyebrows. None of that. But you were telling me, you were basically making it sound like I was a bad mom on your social media. Pop off, queen. Yeah, so those are some of the some of the things I deal with on a daily basis, and it makes me stronger. It makes me a better person. Spiritually, because it makes me talk to God a lot more. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. Short and simple today. Like I told y'all, these episodes can be anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes to an hour at the max. Max will never go over an hour. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and tuning into these episodes, especially today. Here's something I want to leave you parents with. And this is something I shared with a coworker the other day. When it comes to parenting, one thing you have to remember is that your kids give off a different personality and energy when they're not around you. The way that they act when they are at school or at an event or whatever is not going to be the same version of that child that you get. So when you have teachers or other adults or other parents that come up to you and compliment you on how well behaved your children are, how mannerable they are, or this, that, and the third, that should be a testament to you and your parenting and that you're doing it right. I know there may be days where you feel defeated, stressed out, even sometimes undervalued by your kids and unloved. But at the end of the day, just take that piece. Remember that piece. Every time someone tells you how great your kids are, just remember you're doing it right. It may not seem like it in those moments that you're having the struggles with them, or you want to push them down in the backyard, okay? Just remember you're still doing it right. Those kids are great, and it could always be worse. You could always look around and see the kids who are necessarily not getting the love and attention from their parents that they need and deserve. And you can see that every day, I'm sure, in your community. But when the people around you are telling you how great your kids are, that's because of you and what you're doing and developing them and making them a better person every day. And as all parents, all we're trying to do is make our kids better than we are. We want them to be a better version, a better adult, do better in life than we did, have more things than we did in life. That's all we're doing. You know, sometimes they don't get it, they don't understand it, they don't see it. But and a lot of times we don't even see that our kids are emulating us, that they are a version of us, and we can't see it sometimes until you start to see the little actions or the things they say or do is a version of you. So keep your head up. Don't let them stress you out. Soon they will realize why you do the things you do, or reasons why you did the things you did, and they will come to you and thank you. And they will say thank you for being that parent that was there, that did everything for me, that worked extra time because you were trying to take care of me, whatever the case may be. This concludes another episode of Wit, Grit, and No Bullshit with your girl Sin City. Until next time, love, peace, and fish grease. I'm Ale.